Drexel interview. I'm your host, Paula Morantz-Cohen, a professor of English at Drexel, speaking to you from Drexel's historic Westfall Gallery. Today our guest is the noted chef-restaurateur, Georges Perrier. Monsieur Perrier is the owner of Le Bec-Fin, the internationally known five-star classic French restaurant that is the jewel in the crown of Philadelphia's well-regarded restaurant scene. Chef Perrier also owns two other popular gourmet restaurants in the Philadelphia area. Georges Perrier is known the world over, but he is especially dear to us at Drexel, where he is a consultant for our culinary arts program and has received an honorary doctoral degree. Georges Perrier, welcome to the Drexel interview.
Thank you, Doctor. Pleasure.
Thank you. I'm wondering about your early life and your formative influences in becoming a chef. I know you grew up in France,
Yes.
which is the capital and the source of all great cooking.
It was.
Well,
Doctor.
it was, and I guess in the American mind,
It
we
was.
still
It
think
was.
is.
It was. It was.
Could you tell us a little bit about what formed you as a chef?
My career started when I was a young man. You know, I graduated from school. I did 1 year in college. And when I was 14 years old, my background, my mother, you always, and when you're a young man, you're always influenced by somebody on this business. I was very much influenced by my mother and my grandmother. My grandmother was a fabulous cook, and my mother was an extraordinary cook. And because she was a doctor, and she really has a lot of people to entertain at home, she always, my grandmother was cooking the dinner and something special, and I always she always asked me taste to make sure. I always say, le bit more salt, le bit more pepper, le bit more this. So this is really when it started for me, and I decided, and I told my parents I wanted to be a chef. I think they're going to have a heart attack when I said that. I think they're going to die.
They didn't like the idea.
They didn't like the idea
Even
at
though they
all.
were French.
Even they were French, they didn't like the idea at all. My mother wanted me to go to school to be a doctor, and I had the profession. I didn't want to be a doctor. And my father wanted me to be a jeweler because he was a jeweler. And I said, I had both of these professions. I want to become a chef. So I have to really push a little bit. But my mother was a very smart and intelligent woman. So after she understood, and she said, okay.
Okay, because I would have thought it would have been easier in France than in this country to become a chef.
Well,
because there's a tradition.
You have to understand, when I started in 1955. And this is not, the chef in 1955, we are not what the chefs are here in the year 2004 here. I mean, that's a little difficult.
Well, that is
different
true.
here.
That is true. And I would say that today, the career has become extremely popular.
Exactly. And we are considered like gentlemen. At that time, it was not really the same.
So there wasn't the same prestige?
I don't think so, not the same prestige. I think everything changed because some of the chefs have changed this.
How do you account for the change? I mean, I would say that it's a very desirable career choice in America today.
Yeah, but in France, I think if the one really changed the whole aura of the prestigious chef to become very, very special, I think it's Paul Bocuse.
Really?
I think Paul Bocuse is really the precursor of all this because he's got great charisma, he's got a great aura, and also he wanted to make sure all the chefs will be treated like very special, like royalty. And I think that if we owe something to somebody, I think it's Paul Bocuse. I'm not saying there is a lot, and then also he loved the profession so much. And because of this charisma, he was very charismatic. He really push. And only him could do that. I don't think so. Maybe now we have some other chefs. We have Alain Ducasse, but Alain Ducasse doesn't have the same aura. I think we have done the same thing like Paul Bocuse have accomplished. If we are here today, with all the chefs all over the world, I think it's Paul Bocuse.
And Paul Bocuse, if I'm not mistaken, was from Lyon?
Yes.
And you are from Lyon?
And I'm from Lyon.
And did you know him at any point?
I met Paul Bocuse about 15 years ago. And I'm extremely friendly with him. And I have the great admiration for him.
Now, do you feel that there's something about Lyon that might have bred the celebrity chef?
You know, it's very interesting what this question you're asking me. We always talk about food, and food grows somewhere. Lyon is the capital of the Gaule, as you know, and there is the Saône and the Rhône and two rivers, and there is the wine.
Yeah.
Everywhere there is wine, great chefs are born. In California, there is wine, and you have great chefs also. The big push of this country was the California cooking, and the revolution in this country came from California with the California cooking. Why? Because there is wine. You cook with wine. So automatically there is great chef who coming, and I think this is what Lyon has really brings a lot of good chefs. But now I meant all over France, but it really started there.
Yeah, and the celebrity chef in particular.
Yes, absolutely.
Paul Bocuse.
Yes, Paul Bocuse really.
What do you think makes an expert chef? I mean, I assume with Bocuse, it was not just his personality and his ability to sell himself.
To become a great chef, I think you have to have a personality. I think certainly it's an important factor, but I think it's really what you put on the plate and what you create, your creativity and the food you produce and what you put on the plate. And great chefs become great because they make great restaurants, they run great restaurants. That's how they really establish their reputation. And that's really the key for a great chef. There is, on our industry, it's like every business. There is good doctor, great doctor, mediocre doctor. I think it's everywhere on all the profession you look at it. I think there is always some people who are above everything. And I think the great chef really emerge from above the rest of the mass.
And yet, it's interesting you make the comparison to a doctor, because I would make the comparison to an artist. I mean, a doctor is more of a technician. A chef, to me, is more of an artist, where there's a constant sense of innovation. Would you say that's true?
Yes, it's absolutely true. I think the great chef, we are artists. We can consider it like the great painter of, but it's true. We are artists. We have to be very artistic to be a great chef.
And do you have the artistic sensibility?
You have to have sensibility, and you have to have the artistic sensibility. Otherwise, you will be a mediocre chef all your life. But it requires a lot of quality to become a great chef.
Now, as an artist, how do you feel? I mean, then you compared yourself to a painter, and of course we have the paintings on the walls.
That's what I'm looking.
They endure.
Yeah.
But when you have a great dish, it's there on the plate and it's consumed.
Well, this is the beauty of it. We are much artists, because if I look at myself, for example, at the beginning of my career, or even if I look at myself when I came to Philadelphia in 1967, you know, when you look at Picasso, you say he has the blue period, he has this period, and he has the cubist, and he's the precursor of the cubist. If you look at a great chef, it's exactly the same thing. They have the first period, and the second period, and the third period.
Or the fourth and the fifth and the
sixth. The fourth and the fifth. As we grow old, we change our technique, we change our approach, we change our feeling, and we change our cooking. And if you ask me today, doctor, could you cook a dish you did in 1967 when I came in Philadelphia, I would say, I'm afraid to put it on the table, because you're not going to eat it. It's going to be so rich, and it's going to be so different than what I'm doing now.
So it would be too rich.
Absolutely, because as I grow old, I evaluate my food and everything I do with what the people want now and what I want also, and to get the flavor, more flavor, less sauce, and less cream, and less everything.
Do you think that this, I guess it started with the nouvelle cuisine, which is a good 20 or 30 years old. This will continue, or is it?
Well, the nouvelle cuisine, I mean, let's not get confused.
It's now old cuisine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's not get cuisine with the nouvelle cuisine, who was really bring the nouvelle cuisine started in Europe, in France, already started in France, with the Gaulle Emilio. The guy, Gaulle Emilio, really pushed this nouvelle cuisine. And this nouvelle cuisine was really a destruction to French cooking.
A destruction?
Yeah, it was. It was a small portion and big prices. This is how I describe nouvelle cuisine. Small portion, big prices. And they really hurt.
And that's how you would define it?
That's how I define it.
Not pure ingredients and
Well,
less sauce?
it was, but not for many chefs. The nouvelle cuisine was big portion, small portion, and big prices. Okay. I'm exaggerated when I'm saying that, but of course they were the ingredients, they was it. But that's what the nouvelle cuisine in France did last at all. It was just, 2 years, maybe 2.5 years, and everybody start to say, oh, no, and it disappear. But it was an evolution. The nouvelle cuisine really changed the way we're cooking now, absolutely.
And do you feel the major change has taken place in this country as opposed to in France?
That's a very interesting question you're asking me, because I have not said that. I'm saying that from Paul Bocuse himself. I think the trend, the food is changing. In '67, when I came in the United States, people were drinking martini for drink and put a lot of ice and drink all this icy stuff and everything. And we were at the beginning here. And then Paul Bocuse said last year, I'm not said that because it's not coming from me, coming from him. He said the French cooking across the Atlantic. So you got your answer. Now I think in this country we are the precursor of what's cooking is all over the world. And I think now it's switching to Spain because El Bulli and all the great talents in Spain who are doing another style of cooking who's going to revolutionize this industry and change the food maybe forever. I don't know if it will last, but it certainly makes a lot of noise. So it's going to be very interesting to see what's going to happen in Spain and the rest of the world.
That's interesting. I had read about this shift to Spain. I want to ask you, the famous classical French chef, Savarin, is quoted to have said, "Tell me what you eat, and I will tell you what you are." Do you believe this is true?
I think it's true. I really think it's true. I really think you can, I can tell me what you eat and I will tell you what you are. I really think it's not completely accurate, but I think it's about 50% accurate.
Could you give me an example? Well, I guess we could start with yourself. What do you eat? And how do you think your tastes are reflective of your personality and your character?
That's a challenge, Doctor. It's a very interesting.
Is that a hard question?
No, it's a hard question. But you know, I eat very simple food. So I will consider myself a very simple person, and I think it's a part of my personality. I like great food. I like to eat everything. I like to eat any kind of food, from ethnic to everything. But it's really big parts of my personality. That's why I have stayed over this year with all the success that I have, a very simple person. Because first of all, in this business, if your head gets too big, you're not going to get too far. But it's true. What I eat, I think, reflects a part of my personality.
Well, when you say you eat simply, give me an example of that simple meal that is your ideal meal.
Well, for example, today I'm in diet right away, Doctor. I'm trying to lose 20 pounds.
Well, you look very good to me.
Oh, thank you. It's really difficult.
Yeah.
But today for lunch, I have haricots verts, just a little haricots verts, steamed haricots verts string beans with lemon and a grilled fish. Very simple. Yeah. But I'm in diet.